Hello again. I did another custom keyboard video because I wanted to make one for my friend. And so here we are. I'm making this one for my friend Car. She likes two things, birds and green. Sadly, there aren't that many bird keycaps, so we had to go with green theme. And we did a lot of green. Okay, she likes more than two things, but you get the point. So for the base of this, we went with the RK Royal Clutch RK84, 80%. It's got Bluetooth and it's a hot swappable mechanical. It's a really nice base. We've used Royal Clutches in the past and they're very easily moddable. So if you're looking to get into this, it's pretty easy. As for the keycaps, we got Matchas, and for the actual switches, we also got Matcha greens, which are an Akko linear switch. They're really nice for the price. Like, I'm super impressed actually. Like, even if you don't want to lube switches, they're really nice, especially since I didn't have a switch opener that was compatible with them, so let's just go with that. It didn't need it. Now how about a sound test? So in the box, it came with TCC Browns, which I think are like the Logitech proprietary ones that are, they're okay. They have some good ones and some bad ones. I don't really like the Browns though after trying them. It also came with these little feet. They magnetize over the other feet, which is really a cool little feature. It also came with a keycap and switch puller, which is convenient since it's nice to bundle it in case like a switch or something dies, but they don't have a switch puller. So I mean, it's not for like, it's not good if you're gonna replace the whole thing, but I mean, it works. It's a useful little thing to have on hand. So now we start the taking apart process because we're gonna mod this thing. We're gonna put some foam in it. We're gonna tape mod it. Just make sure it sounds nice and good when it's all said and done. Ignore the switches that get pulled out with some of the keycaps. I don't know what happened. I've never seen that happen before unless a board has been hot swapped a couple of times, but ignore it. It does make it slightly less satisfying, but we're just not going to talk about it. Not going to draw attention to it. I did consider cutting this part and then just putting the switches back in and then taking them back out for the next part, but I'm not going to do that because I'm lazy. And also a lie. It would be a lie. I don't want to lie to you. So this is a pretty simple tray-mounted keyboard. So I do the unscrewing part relatively quickly, and by that I mean I sped up the footage. I know it looks really impressive, but that is in fact editing. So when we actually took off the plate, we found there's a little piece of foam that they just kind of stuck to the battery. But that's not nearly enough to get us the sound that we're gonna desire. So we got to actually cut around it because it's what keeps the battery separate from the PCB, and we do not want them touching because that could be bad. And as you can see on the little tray mount, they have these little like fins, and those are what actually hold the PCB in place. So anything we put below that is going to help dampen the sound. Also, this time we are actually documenting that Rhiannon did indeed help me with this part and with the cutting and stuff, as you'll see, because we actually recorded it this time because the camera wasn't dying the entire time. And as you can see, we are indeed using the vaunted kitchen drawer mod again. I'm actually really surprised with the quality of the sound dampening on it. Also, it's really nice for tray mount because you can kind of just like shove the tray mount through the holes that are already there if you're not good at crafting things like I am, and by that I mean Rhiannon is. Take it from me, this is not that easy to cut at all, but she does a really good job at it, as you're watching right now, unless you're just listening, in which case you're not hearing because I cut the audio. And so the bottom layer was a relatively tight fit. but the top layer definitely needed at least 2 cuts. I mean, it had plenty of room for like the USB slot and the battery and all that stuff, and so we needed to add 1 layer to that part and then 2 layers for all of the huge gaps that was still in there. And here it is with all the foam added, and now I have to kind of make sure it's stuffed down so that the PCB doesn't have too many issues. Spoilers, it was fine, so that's good. And next we have to do the tape mod. Well, you know, I have to, but I want to. And by want to, I mean I didn't realize that there was like 3 switches on here and then also 2 slots, which made it very annoying. And this was it, the longest frickin' clip I had while making the keyboard, even longer than the switches and everything else. I don't know if it was in like how it compared to cutting the foam like in total, but this was certainly not fun, but I did it myself. So I'm proud that I was able to do something that involved cutting by myself, because I'm not a very crafty person, but I think I did a pretty good job. I did have to, like I said, avoid those 2 switches, which I believe control like the RGB or something. I don't know. I think it's for the Bluetooth or the 2.4 gigahertz connection as well. But anyway, I had to avoid those and the actual slots to power on the thing. And then after like 3 or 4 layers of tape modding, can finally put the thing back together, which just means we hook up the little sections, and then I realized that I didn't cut holes for the actual standoffs, so damn it. But that's okay. I just have to poke holes, and then everything was fine. Oh yeah, and I also forgot we have to cut out little sections for the tiny switches to be able to go through from the PCB through the keyboard thing to the back, which was also kind of scary because I was like, why isn't this fitting down? And then I realized that it was because the foam was blocking it, so we had to fix that too. And then we can finally actually put it all back together. I don't actually tighten the screws all the way down because it can help with the keyboard like breathability. I don't know. I've just seen a lot of videos where people were like, yeah, I'd like untighten the screws a little bit and it sounded like 10 times better. So I was like, screw it. I'll just like not tighten it all the way. And it seemed to pay off. And then in go the matcha, the Akko Matcha green switches, and then honestly I'm really glad with how they feel and sound. Man, they're awesome, but I guess we'll get to that when the final sound test happens. Also, thanks to Rhiannon again for helping me, because this can take a while, as everyone who's made a keyboard knows. And then the matcha keycaps to go on the matcha green switches. And Rhiannon very specifically requested putting this all on because she saw how satisfying it was when people did it on YouTube, and she wanted to do it herself. So I was more than glad to help after dropping the tray about 8 times, because these were, the tray is, oh man, this was rough. I'm glad you don't get to see it. Oh man, okay, this thing underwent quite the transformation. I mean, I'm very proud of the difference that we made. I mean, just the sound test alone, and when I was typing on it, I was like, man, I don't want to stop typing on this thing. I barely want to put it in the box. This might be like the best keyboard mod I've ever done, honestly. It feels so good and it sounds amazing, but I hope that kind of came through. alas, it is a gift, so we packed it up, we shipped it out. We added some extra from the novelty sets. We gave her all the extra things, the cord and all that stuff, and there we go. I think it's relatively safe to say that she did indeed enjoy the keyboard, and I'm so glad, because Lord knows I would have loved it too. Man, that thing felt so good. But there it is. I'm so glad that she can have it and enjoy it, and I can spread the love of custom keyboards throughout the world. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed as much as I did. That was a lot of fun. Anyway, see you guys next time. Bye.